Okay, now we're going to attach our yarn to our paper loom. And there's two terms for the yarn in weaving. The type of yarn that attaches to the loom and makes our X's that we're going to weave into later, that's called the warp. The part of the yarn that attaches to the loom is the warp. So we're going to take the end of our yarn and we're going to put it through our slot for S. S means start. On the back, we're going to go ahead and tape down our little tail that's just a few inches long. We're going to tape that right down to the plate to hold it in place. Okay, so we've got our yarn that is in the S slot, and we're going to take it across to the 8 slot. Now, we want our yarn to be taut. What does taut mean? Not loose, but not too tight. So it kind of makes a little bounce when you pull on it. From the 8 slot, we're going to follow our arrow over to the next door slot. So then we're going to cross the street following our arrow from the S and go down across the street. We're going to come up at our next door neighbor and cross the street, and each time we're making a larger X. Come up at your neighbor's house and cross the street. And we're keeping our yarn taut, not too loose, not too tight. Come up at your neighbor's house and cross the street. Up at your neighbor's house, cross the street. Now, this is a good time to check and make sure that you don't have any X's on the back. You should only have straight lines of yarn around the edge and your tail, but no X's on the back. If you have X's, take your yarn out and start over. Okay, here we are, coming up at our neighbor's house, crossing the street. Up at our neighbor's house, crossing the street, and up at our neighbor's house. Now you'll notice there's no more slots. And it's okay that our middle is not perfect. We're gonna fix that in just a second. But before we go any further, let's take a second and stop and check each other's work and make sure there's no X's on the back of our loom.